The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Empire buzzed with activity. Tall, blue-skinned beings in ornate military uniforms gathered around a massive holographic display showing a small blue planet. Admiral Ross, his weathered face marked with the scars of countless battles, stood quietly in the corner. His eyes narrowed as he watched his fellow officers dismiss the newly discovered world with casual waves of their hands. "Another primitive species," General Smith announced, his voice carrying across the chamber. "Their technology is centuries behind ours. They haven't even achieved faster than light travel." The hologram zoomed in, showing cities, vehicles, and primitive space stations orbiting the planet. Military analysts pointed out the obvious weaknesses in Earth's defenses, marking potential targets with red indicators that blinked ominously in the dim light. "We've conquered worlds far more advanced than this," Colonel Baker added, running his fingers through his datapad. "Their weapons are based on chemical propulsion. Their ships rely on primitive rocket technology. This will be an easy conquest." But Admiral Ross saw something different. While others focused on the obvious technological gap, his attention was drawn to the historical records. Earth's military history scrolled before his eyes, displaying conflicts spanning thousands of years. "I suggest caution," Ross spoke up, his voice quiet but firm. The chamber fell silent as all eyes turned to him. "These humans, they're different." General Smith laughed. "Different? They're barely out of their stone age compared to us." Ross stepped forward, accessing the main display. "Look at their warfare evolution. Every major conflict has led to massive technological leaps. Their weapons advance from swords to nuclear devices in less than 500 years. He pulled up more data. "They adapt faster than any species we've encountered. Their military doctrine isn't rigid like ours. It evolves constantly." "That only proves their primitive nature," Colonel Baker interrupted. "No civilized species maintains such a focus on warfare." The Admiral shook his head. "That's exactly what makes them dangerous. They've never known true peace. Their entire history is an endless cycle of war and innovation." He highlighted specific battles from Earth's history. "Look at their patterns. Smaller forces defeating larger ones through superior tactics. Guerrilla warfare, asymmetric combat. They don't fight like we do. They fight to win, using any means necessary." The council members shifted uncomfortably as Ross continued. "And their unity in the face of external threats is remarkable. Their nations may fight each other, but they band together against outside forces." "Enough." General Smith slammed his fist on the table. "They are primitives, and we are the Galactic Empire. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. Their entire military force couldn't destroy a single one of our capital ships." Ross tried one last time. "At least let me conduct a more thorough assessment. Something about their combat evolution doesn't follow any patterns we've seen before." "Your concerns are noted, Admiral," Smith replied coldly. "But the Council has decided. We will proceed with standard conquest protocols. Send in the diplomatic fleet to demand their surrender. If they resist, we'll demonstrate our power by destroying one of their major cities." As the council members filed out, Ross remained behind, staring at the holographic image of Earth. He zoomed in on their military installations, watching their troops train. Their ships patrol their waters, their aircraft guard their skies. "You're making a mistake," he whispered to the empty chamber. "These humans, they're not like the others." He pulled up one final piece of data, a simple quote from one of Earth's military leaders. "Never corner something that is still fighting when all hope is lost." The Admiral switched off the display, leaving the chamber in darkness. As he walked out, he couldn't shake the feeling that the Empire was about to learn a costly lesson about underestimating their opponents. In Earth's orbit, the first scout ships maintained their silent watch, preparing for the arrival of the diplomatic fleet. Below them, unaware of the gathering storm, humanity continued its daily routines. But soon, very soon, they would face their greatest challenge and teach the Galactic Empire why so many of humanity's own legends warned about awakening sleeping giants. The stage was set. The pieces were in motion, and the Empire's greatest mistake was about to begin. The massive Empire diplomatic fleet emerged from hyperspace, their ships casting enormous shadows over Earth's major cities. 12-kilometer-long vessels positioned themselves strategically around the planet, their weapons systems powered but not yet active. On the bridge of the flagship, Commander Allen watched with mild amusement as Earth's military forces scrambled to respond. Primitive jets circled helplessly below their ships, while radar stations tracked their every move. "Send the message," he ordered, straightening his uniform. "Let's get this over with." The Empire's diplomatic broadcast went out simultaneously in all Earth languages. "People of Earth, we are the Galactic Empire. Your planet is now under our protection. Surrender your military forces and submit to Imperial rule. Resistance will result in immediate demonstration of our power. You have 1 Earth hour to comply." In the United Nations emergency session, world leaders gathered in unprecedented unity. The Empire's message displayed on screens worldwide, causing panic in some regions, but, surprisingly, cold anger in others. "They're broadcasting in the clear," a military technician reported. "No encryption. Their communication protocols are strange, advanced but vulnerable." Within 15 minutes, human cyber warfare teams had already begun decoding the Empire's battlefield communications. What they found made them smile. The aliens used standardized commands, predictable patterns, and absolutely no backup systems. The hour passed. Commander Allen waited impatiently for Earth's surrender. Instead, he received a simple response from a unified Earth command. "No." Allen laughed. "Very well. Target New York City. Low-yield weapon, just a demonstration." The massive ship's main gun powered up, its energy readings climbing. But before it could fire, alarms blared across the bridge. "Sir, multiple launches detected. They're using nuclear missiles." Allen smiled. "Primitive weapons. Our shields can." His words died as the missiles suddenly changed course, not aimed at the ships but detonating in the upper atmosphere. The electromagnetic pulses crashed against their shields, but that wasn't the real attack. "Sir, we're losing communications, some kind of cyber attack. They've gotten into our systems." Across Earth, military bases launched a coordinated response. While the Empire expected resistance from official armed forces, they weren't prepared for what happened next. Civilian hackers joined the fight, their systems too diverse and unpredictable for Empire defenses. Private space companies launched swarms of small satellites, overwhelming the Empire's tracking systems. "This is impossible," Allen muttered as his ship's systems began failing one by one. "They're primitives." The first real strike came from an unexpected direction. Small, stealthy submarines, their existence unknown to the Empire's scans, launched hypersonic missiles from beneath the oceans. The weapons, far more advanced than the Empire expected, struck with devastating precision. "Shields at 60%. An officer shouted. "They're using our own communication frequencies to coordinate their attacks." More alarms sounded as Earth's combined air forces launched their counterattack. Instead of the expected head-on assault, they used the Empire's massive ships as cover, darting between them, forcing the aliens to hold their fire to avoid hitting their own vessels. "Fall back," Allen ordered. "Regroup at lunar orbit." But the humans had one more surprise. As the Empire ships retreated, they discovered their hyperspace drives wouldn't activate. Earth's scientists had already analyzed their technology and found a critical weakness. "Sir," his second-in-command reported, "we're receiving a transmission from Earth." The message was brief. "This was your only warning. Leave now, or find out what we do when we're actually trying to fight." In lunar orbit, Commander Allen watched in disbelief as his mighty fleet, pride of the Empire, lay partially disabled by a supposedly primitive species. His ship's systems were compromised, their weapons unreliable, and their communication networks in chaos. He sent an emergency transmission to Empire Command. First contact with Earth failed. Humans display unprecedented technological adaptation and combat capabilities. Request immediate reinforcements. The response he received was not what he expected. Instead of support, he got new orders. Hold position. Full battle fleet being assembled. Humans must be dealt with before they become a greater threat. As Alan read the orders, Earth's forces began their first counterattack. The real war was about to begin, and humanity was just warming up. The Empire's grand battle fleet arrived in waves, thousands of ships darkening Earth's skies. General White, the newly appointed fleet commander, watched with satisfaction as his forces took position. This time, he declared to his officers, "We'll show these humans real power." But 3 weeks into the invasion, White sat in his command chair, staring at casualty reports with disbelief. The Empire had lost over 300 ships, more than in their last 10 conquests combined. How? He demanded, throwing a data pad across the bridge. How are they doing this? The answer came from multiple fronts. Humans hadn't just studied the Empire's technology. They'd improved it. Captured Empire weapons appeared on the battlefield, modified in ways that shocked their original designers. "Sir," an intelligence officer reported, "they've reverse-engineered our shield technology. But they're using it differently. Instead of protecting entire ships, humans had miniaturized the shields, protecting individual soldiers. Their troops now moved freely through Empire energy weapons, closing to distances where their primitive projectile weapons proved devastatingly effective. The Empire's rigid battle formations, unchanged for centuries, met their match in human guerrilla warfare. Small, fast ships darted between asteroids, striking from impossible angles. Earth's militaries had centuries of experience fighting against superior forces, and it showed. "They're learning too fast," White muttered, watching another destroyer explode. "This isn't normal." On Earth, humanity's industrial base had shifted entirely to war production. Unlike the Empire's specialized military factories, human manufacturers could adapt overnight. Car plants now produced tanks. Smartphone factories made military electronics. Every human innovation was immediately shared globally. The Empire's greatest shock came from human battle tactics. They'd expected Earth's militaries to fight like their own, in organized formations with clear hierarchies. Instead, they faced an enemy that changed strategies daily. "Sir, we've lost contact with Battle Group 7, an officer reported. "How?" "They had an entire fleet." The humans, they let themselves be pushed back, then detonated nuclear weapons in their own atmosphere. The EMPs knocked out everything. Their forces were hardened against it. Ours weren't. White watched the tactical display as another red dot vanished. Another Empire ship lost. Their superior technology meant nothing against an enemy that turned their own weapons against them. Reports from ground battles were even worse. Empire troops, used to fighting in large formations, found themselves in urban combat against enemies who seemed to be everywhere and nowhere. Humans didn't just fight with weapons. They used their environment as a weapon. They flooded their own cities, a ground commander reported, his voice shaking. "Waited until our forces moved in, then breached their dams. We lost entire divisions." The Empire's sophisticated targeting systems struggled against human countermeasures. Simple tricks, smoke, mirrors, and electronic warfare techniques centuries old proved surprisingly effective against advanced alien technology. But the most terrifying reports came from captured Empire soldiers. Stories spread through the fleet about human determination, about their ability to keep fighting even when defeat seemed certain. "They don't stop," one shell-shocked officer reported. "You destroy their weapons, they fight with rocks. You destroy their vehicles, they come on foot. You destroy their cities, they fight from the ruins." In his command center, White received a priority message from Empire High Command. "Explain continuing losses. How are primitives defeating our forces?" His response was simple. "They are not primitives. We have made a terrible mistake." He attached combat footage. Humans using captured Empire weapons with modifications that made them twice as effective. Earth ships using tactics that ignored centuries of established space combat doctrine, and soldiers who adapted faster than Empire commanders could issue new orders. As another day of losses ended, White looked at Earth glowing below his fleet. The humans weren't just defending. They were pushing back. Every Empire tactic was countered. Every technological advantage was negated or turned against them. The Empire had started this war expecting an easy victory. Instead, they had awakened something their vast experience had never prepared them for, an enemy that grew stronger with every defeat, learned from every battle, and simply refused to submit. And somewhere on Earth, human scientists were already preparing the next series of innovations that would change the course of the war. The secret military facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains buzzed with activity. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, surrounded by captured Empire technology and hybrid weapons of their own design. Project Director Thomas stood before a massive screen displaying their latest creation, a fusion of human ingenuity and alien tech. "The Empire gave us the pieces," he told his team. "We just had to put them together differently." The first of these new weapons proved devastating. Human ships, smaller than Empire vessels, but now equipped with modified shield systems, struck from the shadow of Earth's moon. They carried warheads that combined nuclear power with Empire energy technology, creating explosions that could pierce any defense. In orbit, Admiral Green of the newly formed Earth Defense Fleet watched the battle unfold. His ships, once considered primitive by the Empire, now moved with deadly purpose. They had learned the enemy's weaknesses well. "Target their supply lines," he ordered, "just like we planned." The Empire had never faced an enemy that attacked their logistics. Their massive fleets required constant resupply. Following predictable routes, their enemies had always been too afraid to attack. But humans had centuries of experience in submarine warfare, hiding, striking, and vanishing. Earth's stealth ships, painted with radiation-absorbing materials and running silent, ambushed Empire supply convoys. Each victory brought more alien technology to Earth's labs, where it was quickly adapted and improved. "Sir," a young officer reported to Green, "the Empire is pulling their forces back. They're trying to establish a defensive line at Mars orbit." Green smiled. The Empire still fought in terms of traditional battle lines. They hadn't learned that humans didn't play by those rules. On Earth, nations had put aside their differences, pooling resources in ways previously unimaginable. Russian submarine technology combined with American stealth systems. Chinese manufacturing merged with European engineering. Indian software experts worked alongside Brazilian tactical specialists. The Empire's worst nightmare was coming true. Humanity wasn't just fighting back, they were evolving. "They still don't understand," Thomas said, watching test footage of their latest weapon. "Their technology stopped advancing centuries ago. They just kept making the same things bigger." The new human weapons were smaller, faster, and smarter. Empire ships, designed to fight at long range with energy weapons, found themselves swarmed by clouds of autonomous drones. Their rigid computer systems, unchanged for generations, were no match for human AI that evolved during combat. "Sir," an operator called out, "Empire fleet is launching a major attack." Green watched as the massive alien armada approached. But this time, Earth was ready. As the Empire ships formed their standard attack pattern, they discovered their targets weren't there. Earth's cities, military bases, and industrial centers had been hardened, hidden, or relocated underground. The Empire's careful tactical planning was worthless against an enemy that refused to be where they were expected. "Launch countermeasure operation," Green ordered. Thousands of decoys activated, each one mimicking the signature of a major military installation. The Empire fleet, trained to target specific strategic locations, found their targeting systems overwhelmed. "They're splitting their forces," the tactical officer reported with satisfaction. "Just as predicted." This was what humanity had learned in countless wars, the art of deception. While the Empire focused on phantom targets, the real attack came from behind their lines. Earth's new hybrid ships, combining human creativity with Empire power, struck with devastating effect. Their weapons, impossible by Empire standards, ignored shields that had been considered impenetrable for centuries. In his command center, Green received reports from across the solar system. Empire forces, faced with an enemy that didn't behave like any they'd fought before, were falling into disarray. "Send word to all commands," he ordered. "Operation Thunderbolt is go." Across Earth, hidden launchers prepared thousands of missiles. Each one carried a warhead that represented humanity's response to Empire technology, smaller, more efficient, and far more deadly than the original. As the barrage began, Green thought about how the Empire had dismissed humans as primitives. They had expected Earth to fight like every other world they'd conquered. Instead, they found an enemy that took their greatest strengths and turned them into weaknesses. An enemy that didn't just adapt to survive, but adapted to win. The real war was about to begin, and humanity was done playing defense. The Empire's high command chamber fell silent as Supreme Commander Davis slammed his fist on the holographic display. "Release the planet killers," he ordered. "All of them." A wave of terror swept through the junior officers. The planet killers, massive ships capable of destroying entire worlds, had never been used in such numbers before, but Earth had pushed the Empire too far. Across the galaxy, ancient weapons stirred to life. Ships larger than cities, carrying weapons that could crack planets, emerged from their secret docks. The Empire was done underestimating humanity. But Earth had been preparing for this. Deep in an underground bunker, the United Earth Defense Council received the warnings. Multiple hyperspace signatures detected. The sensor operator announced, "Biggest ships we've ever seen." General Stone, Earth's Supreme Commander, didn't show any concern. "Execute Protocol Omega," he ordered quietly. "Let's show them what we've been hiding." The Empire's planet killers emerged from hyperspace, their massive forms blocking out the stars. Commander Davis watched with satisfaction as they moved into position. "Begin the attack," he ordered. "Let's end this." The first planet killer fired its main weapon at Earth. The beam of pure energy, capable of destroying continents, shot toward the planet. But it never arrived. A shield unlike anything the Empire had ever seen flickered to life around Earth. The planet killer's beam scattered harmlessly into space. "Impossible," Davis shouted. "No shield can stop a planet killer." "Sir," his science officer reported, voice shaking. "That's not just a shield. They've created something new. They've combined our shield technology with their nuclear fusion research." Before the Empire could react, Earth revealed its own surprise. Hidden bases on Mars, Europa, and Titan activated. Weapons platforms that human engineers had been secretly building emerged from beneath the ice and rock. "All ships, fire at will," General Stone commanded. The Empire watched in horror as Earth unleashed weapons they'd never imagined possible. Missiles carrying warheads that created localized singularities. Beams of concentrated dark matter that ignored shields completely. Swarms of nanobots that could disassemble Empire ships at the atomic level. These aren't primitive weapons, Davis realized too late. They've taken our technology and evolved it into something new. The planet killers, for all their power, found themselves under attack from weapons they had no defense against. Humanity had spent months preparing for this moment, studying Empire technology, finding its weaknesses, and developing countermeasures. "Sir," an Empire officer called out, "we're detecting similar attacks on our core worlds. The humans, they've somehow reached our home systems." Davis stared at the tactical display in disbelief. While the Empire had focused on building bigger weapons, humanity had been developing faster ones. Small, stealthy ships had slipped through hyperspace, carrying Earth's new weapons to the heart of Empire space. "All ships, retreat," Davis ordered. But it was too late. The planet killers, the Empire's ultimate weapons, were being systematically destroyed by an enemy that they had dismissed as primitive just months ago. Humanity wasn't just defending Earth anymore. They were taking the fight to the Empire itself. General Stone watched from his command center as the massive Empire ships try to escape. "They still don't understand," he said to his staff. "We weren't building weapons to fight their current technology. We were preparing for what comes next." The battle ended as quickly as it began. The planet killers, pride of the Empire fleet, lay in ruins. Earth's defensive screen remained untouched, its new technology proving far beyond what the Empire had thought possible. In his flagship, now retreating at full speed, Commander Davis sent an urgent message to the Empire's capital. "Humans possess technology we cannot counter. Their rate of advancement exceeds all known patterns. Request immediate diplomatic intervention." But on Earth, humanity wasn't interested in stopping. They had learned from the Empire's technology, improved it, and created something new. The real question wasn't whether Earth would survive. It was what would happen to the galaxy now that humanity had been awakened to its full potential. The war was entering a new phase, and the Empire was about to learn why Earth's history books were filled with warnings about cornering an enemy with nothing left to lose. In the Grand Observation Chamber of the Galactic Council, representatives from 100 alien civilizations watched the holographic displays with growing horror. The footage showed Earth's forces advancing through Empire space, using technologies that should have taken centuries to develop. "Impossible," murmured Ambassador Lee of the Star Federation. "They've matched Empire technology in less than a year." The chamber erupted as new reports arrived. Human ships had been spotted near major trade routes. Earth's forces had established bases in abandoned star systems. Their technology was evolving at a pace that defied all known scientific models. On a conquered Empire world, Fleet Captain Taylor walked through the ruins of what had once been a mighty fortress. Earth forces had taken the planet in less than a day, using weapons that simply ignored Empire defenses. "Sir," his lieutenant reported, "the local population is requesting human protection. They're afraid the Empire will punish them for surrendering." Taylor nodded. This was happening across Empire space, worlds choosing Earth's protection over their ancient masters. Humanity's rapid advancement had turned them into a beacon of hope for oppressed civilizations. Back in Earth's Central Command, General Stone reviewed the latest intelligence. "Show me the Empire's response," he ordered. The holographic display revealed chaos in Empire ranks. Their rigid military structure, unchanged for millennia, was crumbling under sustained human assault. Ships deserted their posts. Entire battle groups surrendered without firing a shot. "Sir," his intelligence officer reported, "we're intercepting interesting communications from neutral worlds." The messages painted a clear picture. Other alien civilizations were watching Earth's rise with a mixture of fear and fascination. Humanity had done the impossible, not just fighting the Empire to a standstill, but beating them at their own game. In secret meeting halls across the galaxy, alien leaders debated what to do. Humans had proved they could take Empire technology and improve it within weeks. Their adaptability seemed to have no limits. "They're not just copying the technology," a scientist explained to the Galactic Council. "They're understanding it, improving it, combining it in ways we never imagined." Reports flooded in from across Empire space. Human ships appeared seemingly out of nowhere, using drive systems that made Empire hyperspace technology look primitive. Their weapons ignored defenses that had been considered impenetrable. Ambassador Lee watched another recording of human ships in action. "Look at how they fight," he said to his colleagues. "No fixed patterns, no predictable tactics. They adapt their strategy for each battle." The Empire's military command was in chaos. Their reports showed increasing desperation. Human forces utilizing unknown technology cannot track their ships. Weapons have no effect. Request immediate reinforcements. But there were no reinforcements to send. Humanity had learned from every battle, improved their weapons after every engagement. What had started as a simple invasion of Earth had turned into the Empire's nightmare. In their desperation, the Empire tried to rally other civilizations to their cause. These humans are a threat to galactic stability, they argued. They must be stopped before they grow stronger. But the other species had seen enough. One by one, they began sending messages to Earth, seeking diplomatic relations. Some even requested human technology, offering resources and alliances in return. General Stone received these messages with grim satisfaction. "They're finally understanding," he told his staff. "We never wanted this war. But now that it's started, we'll finish it." The Galactic Council called an emergency session. The topic, what to do about the humans. The Empire's representatives demanded action, but others urged caution. "Look at their history," Ambassador Lee advised. "Every time they were attacked, they emerged stronger. Every attempt to destroy them only made them more powerful." The council chambers fell silent as new footage arrived. Human ships using technologies that should have been impossible. Weapons that defied known physics. Defenses that made Empire weapons useless. As the day ended, messages began spreading across the galaxy. They all carried the same warning. Do not engage the humans in warfare. They do not fight to win. They fight to evolve. The Empire's greatest mistake had become clear. They hadn't just started a war with another species. They had awakened humanity's true potential, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Empire's Grand Palace, once a symbol of unquestioned power, now echoed with the sound of frantic activity. Emergency alarms blared as reports of unstoppable human expansion flooded every communication channel. Emperor Black, the last of his dynasty, stood before the tactical display showing his crumbling empire. Red dots marked human-controlled systems, spreading like a viral infection across the galactic map. "Your Majesty," his chief advisor reported, voice trembling. "We've lost contact with the Centauri sector, all 50 worlds. They've pledged allegiance to Earth." The Emperor watched as another sector turned red on the display. His mighty empire, unchallenged for 10,000 years, was being dismantled by a species that had barely achieved spaceflight when the war began. In Earth's command center, Admiral Stone reviewed the latest conquests. Humanity's expansion had exceeded even their most optimistic projections. Former Empire worlds weren't just surrendering. They were requesting Earth's protection. "Sir," his communications officer called out, "we're receiving a priority transmission. The Empire, they're requesting peace talks." Stone allowed himself a small smile. "On our terms." "Yes, sir. They're willing to accept any conditions." The war that had started with the Empire's arrogant invasion of Earth was ending with humanity as the dominant force in the galaxy. But the true impact of the conflict was still unfolding. Across Empire space, alien civilizations watched in awe as human ships demonstrated technologies centuries ahead of their time. Weapons that could disable entire fleets without destruction. Shields that made ships virtually invulnerable. Drive systems that made distance meaningless. "We have to warn the others," Ambassador Lee told the Galactic Council. "The humans, they're not just winning. They're rewriting the rules of what's possible." His warning spread quickly. Species that had never involved themselves in galactic politics began fortifying their borders. Others sent desperate messages to Earth, seeking alliances before it was too late. In the Empire's high command, the last war council gathered to face reality. Admiral Ross, who had warned them about humans from the beginning, delivered the final assessment. "We didn't just lose a war," he explained. "We created something new. The humans, they've taken everything we threw at them and turned it into something greater. They're not just using our technology anymore. They're creating things we never imagined possible." The Emperor watched as another sector declared independence, seeking Earth's protection. His mighty fleets, once the terror of the galaxy, now fled at the mere sight of human ships. "Send the message," he ordered, his voice heavy with defeat. "Tell them we surrender." But Earth's response shocked everyone. Instead of demanding the Empire's destruction, humans offered partnership. They would share their advances, help rebuild worlds damaged in the war, and establish a new galactic order based on cooperation rather than conquest. We never wanted to rule, Admiral Stone explained to the galactic representatives. We just wanted to be left alone. But now that we're here, we'll make things better. The final meeting of the Galactic Council was broadcast across the galaxy. Species that had once looked down on primitive humans now watched in silence as Earth's representatives outlined their vision for the future. But they also issued a warning, one that would echo through generations to come. We are humanity. We did not seek this war, but we have ended it. We offer friendship to all peaceful species. But remember this, if you value your civilization, never force us to fight. Because we will not just defeat you. We will evolve beyond you. The Emperor, standing in his empty palace, received one last report. The human ships were departing, returning to Earth. They left behind a galaxy forever changed, and a simple message that would be carved into the walls of every spacefaring civilization. We are humanity. We learn. We adapt. We evolve. If you wish to know peace, be our friends. If you choose war, run. As the stars twinkled in Earth's night sky, Admiral Stone looked up at the empire humanity had never wanted but had been forced to build. The war was over, but humanity's journey was just beginning. The galaxy had learned its lesson. The empire was gone, transformed into something new. And humanity, the species that had gone from primitive rockets to reality-bending technology in less than a year, was ready to lead the way into a new era. The first war with humans had ended, and no species would ever dare start another.